Music education programs are present in nearly every public school across the nation. And if you've ever wondered about how they receive funding, you'd be surprised at how many different organizations and institutions work in harmonious efforts to make them easily accessible to virtually any student. Now, there are several different ways that foundations, institutions, and government can support music in public schools through awards, scholarships, and commissions. But the primary way that I want to discuss today is through grants. Grants are basically funds given by foundations, governments, and etc. to educational institutions, businesses, or individuals for specific projects in order for said benefactors to achieve tax-exempt status or community recognition. According to the website of Daniels Music Schools, an organization dedicated to keeping music an integral part of education through the spread of information related to public school funding, there are 5 major sources of grants for public schools regarding music education: the federal government, foundations, nonprofit organizations, corporations, and individuals. Most of these methods require applying for a grant and determining eligibility based on the school's history of the certain program's interest, as well as the funding agency's interests. This is the first step in receiving funding and is typically the most difficult. High schools tend to have more difficulty receiving funding due to music education being an elective rather than an essential part of every student's curriculum. So they rely heavily on the government funding support from nonprofit organizations and corporations. Grants from federal and local government tend to be distributed annually, with the amount fluctuating to reflect how hard the schools tried to pique interest in music education, as well as to satisfy the agency's interests. The next 2 methods are grants from foundations and nonprofits, which are often rolled into one due to their similar methods of acquiring and distributing money to public schools. Music education programs can benefit greatly from these grants because the stipulation of the grant may state that the money is to be used for the arts or some other overarching parameter. Corporations and small businesses comprise the next methods of obtaining funding and is often the most beneficial to the donor. Local government that donates funding to programs to support the community at large. It also lowers tax liability, adding extra incentive to accept applications for grants. The last and most generous of the methods is the personal sponsorship of an individual. Often the rarest method of funding, any person who finds support of music education to be of the utmost importance may simply sponsor a program, donate money, or financially assist individual students with equipment or school-related functions such as concerts or recitals. Public schools have been receiving funding for musical programs for decades and will continue to receive it through public outreach, personal interest, and the spread of information regarding the large variety of funding methods and the simplicity of making a difference. It is my hope that the methods of contributing to public school music programs have become more clear and that you have gained a better knowledge of ways they receive funding.